What's up everyone, it's the Autistic Scyther here, and this is part 2 of my top 10 most wanted fighters in Smash 6. Now, for those who want to know, part 1 of this list is already out, so for those who want to watch that, I suggest you watch part 1 first, then come back to this video to get the full scope of numbers 10 to 5 that I want in Smash 6, since these are the remaining 4. Basically a bit of an order thing, so yeah. So basically, for those that want to, watch, but if you want, watch part 1, then come back for the rest. Without further ado, let's get back into it. Moving on next at number 4, we have Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat franchise. Speaking of fighting games, honestly, I'm surprised there has never been a character from the Mortal Kombat franchise in this series. And in fairness, really does say a lot when you think about it, because Mortal Kombat is one of the most well-known games, or well-known fighting games in the world. And the fact that Smash is basically did a bit of an olive branch to other fighting games by adding their characters in, really does say a lot. Since Smash 4 did so with the Street Fighter franchise due to adding in Ryu, who as a Fighter's Pass character. And in terms of Smash Ultimate, they did the exact same thing with SNK and Tekken, when they added in both Terry Bogard and Kazuya Mishima as playable characters. So honestly, Mortal Kombat has its fair amount of characters that could show up. And honestly, for a while, I wanted Liu Kang, since he's largely one of the few characters that could make sense. Not only being your standard martial artist Shoto clone, as well as the aspect of utilizing his god powers from the more recent Mortal Kombat titles, or even turning into a dragon. However, yeah, you gotta admit, Scorpion is obviously going to be the choice because he's the de facto mascot of the franchise. And he's got a lot of those that can utilize. From his fire abilities, and yes, this even includes his Skull Fire, due to being a revenant for most of the series, to even his standard Rope Dart, which, honestly, if it's used by a grab, you know they're gonna have him say his classic "Get over here" line. And again, with his Revenant aspect, you know they're going to basically utilize his more evil fire tactics / underworld abilities as a final smash. Really does say a lot. Plus, again, if Scorpion's in the game, you know there's a good chance they may end up utilizing Sub-Zero as an Echo Fighter. Who knows? Honestly, it would be kind of interesting to say the least. Moving on next at number 3, we have Meowscarada from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Yeah. First things first, there are a lot of Pokemon that could end up in the next Smash entry as a fighter. Again, there are Pokemon like Gardevoir, Zoroark, Zeraora, Metagross, Blastoise for some strange reason. Considering how there are over 1,000 Pokemon, honestly, kind of makes sense that no one Pokemon would stand out. However, again, for the most part, the one Pokemon that I've heard everyone say it would end up in the series, in the Smash franchise as a fighter, would more or less be a grass starter. And more often than not, if ever there was a grass starter in the title or in the franchise that would show up in Smash, I've heard either one of two Pokemon, whether it's Sceptile or Decidueye, since again both make the most sense. Sceptile being a fast opponent, who utilizes its leaf blades. You could utilize its leaf blades as, well, literal swords, combined with its Mega Evolution, turning its Christmas tail into a Christmas tree missile, and Decidueye just being not just an owl archer, but also being in Pokken Tournament as a playable fighter. Honestly, in all fairness, those are all well and good, but considering the release of Scarlet and Violet, I think Meowscarada would be a perfect character to show up as a playable fighter. I mean, not only does it fit the whole part dark type starter trio that basically started with Greninja in Smash 4 and continued with Incineroar and Ultimate, but in all fairness, it also fits the whole thing of the fighter, mage, thief trope that tends to happen in terms of that, being based on a phantom thief mixed with a stage magician. And yes, I know that's one of two, but honestly, considering which, Meowscarada could utilize both. From maybe hidden vine blades to utilizing its flower trick ability, flower trick attack as somewhat of an improvised explosive. And heck, even other moves like Leafage, Magical Leaf, Play Rough, or Night Slash in its moveset to utilize it. And heck, honestly, maybe in this case, they could utilize a combination of Shadow Sneak and Grassy Glide as its main Final Smash. Or some other move for Final Smash as well. It only depends. Moving on next, at number 2, we have Kazuma Kiryu. Kazuma Kiryu from the Yakuza franchise. Honestly, this one is gonna be strange to most people, but honestly, this is a long time coming. With the Nintendo Switch having access to Yakuza Kiwami on the system, and the Nintendo Switch 2 getting both Yakuza 0 Director's Cut and Yakuza Kiwami 2, you know what, it's kind of obvious that the Dragon of Dojima would end up getting an invitation to the next Smash title, as a fighter. And considering how Ichiban Kasuga is in the newest Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing Transform title, yeah, it kind of makes sense to give Kiryu a chance. Plus, considering Kiryu's movesets, it's fair to say that we could see either one of his styles basically utilized in the title. Basically utilized in his movesets for styles like Brawler for just full on no hold brawl beatdown, Rush for fast paced strikes, Brawler for heavy attacks and maybe even using aspects of throwing around objects to strike opponents, or as Tom Fox puts it, bear style. Just a little shout out to Tom Fox there. And of course, dragon style, basically to utilize his style from Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2. And plus, there might be a lot of others that might show up. And maybe his final smash could basically be his Poundmate's attack from Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yeah, honestly, that would be kind of pretty much awesome to see that. Or heck, maybe he could add something from like Majima. Might get Slugger style. No, it depends. And finally, at number 1, we have Girahim from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Honestly, I know a lot of people want a character like Impa to be in the next Zelda franchise. To be in the next Smash game. And honestly, with the newest Hyrule Warriors game coming out, a lot of people would possibly want Link's Hyrulean version, or Hyrulean predecessor, basically showing up as a playable character. Or even Minoru or Raru. But honestly, you gotta admit, if there's ever a character that would fit for Zelda, it would have to be a villain, and that villain would be Girahim. I mean, considering he's the dark version of the Master Sword in Skyward Sword, and he made a very interesting impression in the game when we first met him. Basically just showing up behind him and then just flicking his tongue. But in all fairness, his movesets could basically show a lot of attacks from his boss battles. From snapping his fingers and basically just sending like diamonds and such, or even cards towards his opponent, to throwing cards like daggers, to even utilizing a sword that he could to basically utilize like a fencing style, which honestly would be really cool. And even with his boss battle, we can more or less see him call upon his ultimate form from his third boss fight with Link in Skyward Sword before facing off against Demise. I mean, heck, maybe Demise could make an appearance in his final smash. And plus, even the first Hyrule Warriors could have some usage for his moveset, for a potential moveset. As much as we know, and considering how I haven't played through all of Skyward Sword, yeah, there are a lot of fodder for this. There's a lot of fodder for this guy showing up in the game. So, yeah, gear him for Smash 6. That's all I gotta say. That being said, those are all of the top 10 most wanted fighters for Smash 6. In all fairness, for those who want to tell me what your favorite or what your most wanted fighter for Smash 6 would be, write it down in the comments below this video. So, for now, like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.